Hey there, it's Tom the English Picker here, just enjoying a nice cup of tea. And this video is a reseller yearly review, and my arm has been twisted by Sam, otherwise known as Tez Nutkins, into doing this video. But I need to get off my arse and get more regular videos out. So I've got a list of things here, list of questions. So I'll try and run through them as quick as I can, but if I start waffling or ranting, I do apologise. You all know me by now. I do waffle on sometimes. So the first question was my best pickup this year. I think probably my best pickup, as in money back on investment, was what I posted in the Facebook group. I went to my local rubbish dump, like tip, and dropped off some empty cardboard boxes, and they weren't good enough really to make packaging material out of. They were old sort of fruit boxes that I'd used to store stuff for when I did a car boot. And I did a car boot and got rid of some stuff from the piles of shame. And as I was putting the cardboard boxes in the general tip, there was a guy who worked there who got some DVDs, and he was opening them up, looking in, nothing in there, just going straight in. And he said, he goes, are you throwing those boxes, have you got any more of those boxes, because I'll take them off you. And I was like, okay, and I gave them to him. And he goes, oh, because we need them for boxing up stuff. And I thought it was really odd. So I gave him all the ones that were complete, because I'd broken some up. So he went back down, and he'd left a stack, the DVDs and stuff that he was dealing with there. And I went to throw the other one in. I noticed just on the top where he'd thrown some in, there was a PS1 game, a Flintstones game. There was an antivirus software, I think it was. I think it was Norton. I haven't checked that yet. And then there was Microsoft Works Home and Student, like a pack thing. And I was like, okay. So I got one box left, a little box. So I just grabbed them out of the refuge and put them in this box. And then there was another pile of DVDs, but they all looked like, just dross. So I didn't even bother, because he was going to come up. So I just grabbed what I could and went back down. Now, in these tips, I've asked before. I've asked and asked and asked and asked. Oh, can I take, can I take stuff? Because I've seen bits and bobs and really interesting bits before, and they've always said no. They've said no as soon as it gets thrown in here. It belongs to the council. It's theft if you take it. Da da da. So I walked down and I heard the guy who worked there say to another one, "Oh, these kids' DVDs will sell well down at the car boot." And I could see that him and his colleagues were boxing DVDs that obviously people have brought in to throw away into a thing, and they were either going to sell it on to somebody, a dealer who sell it at the car boot, or they were going to sell it at the car boot. And it's such a racket that they have a go at you. You can't take anything. They'll kick you off and ban you and all that. They say all the CCTV and all this, but yet they're stealing from their workplace to sell at the car boot. Anyway, I felt alright that I'd got this home and office, and I listed it on eBay, and it sold, I think it was something like £80 to £100, something like, no, it was over £100. I think it was £108 or something crazy like that. So mental, and that was free from the tip. So anyway, rant over. Number two, the biggest sourcing fail. I mean, I've had lots of sourcing fails this year, really. A lot of people have said the same, but there's two really. Electronic stuff at the car boot that doesn't work. The main one is PS2s. I keep buying PS2s, mainly for the controllers, but I've got so many piles of controllers and PS2s that don't work. Either the laser doesn't work, or like one of the buttons in the controllers jammed down. I've got about 3 PS3s that have got the red lights. I mean, it's like I don't buy Xbox 360s anymore because for the same reason. And then also, I bought a Guitar Hero controller. I may have talked about it. I haggled with the guy, and he was up for selling it for £3, and the woman came storming back in, was really rude, and went, "I'm selling that no less than £8," and was a right dick about it. I think she won Dickhead of the Week, actually. Anyway, I ended up paying that for it, got it home, and I couldn't open the battery compartment, so I couldn't get it to work. So after all of that and paying too much, it didn't bloody work anyway. So I've still got that to deal with at some point. It's the Warriors of Rock one for Xbox, and I just can't get the battery compartment open. So I can't even sort of trade it in. Best investment in your business this year other than stock? It's actually this, which is an iPhone 5 something. I think it's the 5C. It's been reshelled. There. I picked this up at the car boot, and it was off a dealer that I've dealt with before, so I felt fairly confident buying it. I've checked the number on it. It's not been stolen, which is good. And I think I paid £100 for it, something like that. I bought it with some other stuff, so I can't remember exactly. But what I use this for is I use this purely for scanning when I'm out and about. So I've got a SIM card only contract where I've got lots of internet data. Don't use it for calls, because what I was finding is with my other phone, which is this one, is that I was just using my battery up. I'd just run out of battery, and then it would do my head in. So I got one just for scanning and looking up when I'm out and about. So that has been great for that, because then it's not sort of mixing business and personal life, and it's all messy. Just it's a tax deductible business phone. Great stuff. Best advice you've received from the community this year? I mean, I've received lots of great advice this year. The guys on the Facebook groups have been great, whether that's a UK group or the Amazon forums like Scam Power, and some of the American forums have been great. But I received a lot of support and advice when I came across a bit of a wall with my inventory limit. I haven't really talked about it so much of late, but I got to the maximum I could send into FBA, and gosh, this video's getting long, of 5,000 items. So it really put my business on hold for quite a while, and I couldn't get past that because Amazon, my sell-through rate wasn't quite quick enough for Amazon. But it was mental that I could sell 20 items at £50 each, which doesn't happen often, but they would much rather me sell 50 items at £1 each, because it's quicker, which does kind of make sense because you're not using its storage space, but still, it was mental. And the guys online, loads of advice, and people were just like, ask them after you've had a good spree of sales, so it makes it look like, ask them when your sales volume is higher, i.e. in fourth quarter, and also just keep asking, and also ask them via an email, because although the people in the call centres are great, sometimes their English isn't fantastic. So if you put it in text, it's much easier to understand than my accent or any sort of misunderstandings. They can look things up at their leisure. So by doing that, I did manage to get my inventory limit increased, so I can finally send some more stuff in, which is great. The funniest / strangest boot fair experience of the year? I can't really remember any, to be honest. I'm sure I've ranted about some, but the bad ones I've kind of like forgotten or whatnot. But one I do remember, which I haven't mentioned, is I was looking at a Mega Drive controller, and it was these two guys, and I can't remember how much they wanted. I got like a Mega Drive which had got a third party controller. I needed a normal one in order to sell it on eBay, and they were like, "Oh, it's £5," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And they were like, "Oh, it belongs to a guy, but he's gone for a wander around and be back in a bit." So I was umming and ahhing, and the guy came back. His name was Mo, and I never gave him a shout out. So Mo, if you're watching, cheers, mate. And he actually came back and said, "Oh, I've watched your videos and all this and that." We had a brief chat, and then he ended up giving me the Mega Drive controller for free. So that was really decent of him. I really appreciated that, and that was just a nice little thing to happen at the car boot. So, number 6, Boot Fair Bugbear of the Year. Um, Again, I've forgotten most of them. I've kind of got them out of my memory, really, because they would end up pissing me off. But one I do remember is it was early at a car boot, and I was going around. There was a dealer stall, and I normally don't start with the dealers, but for whatever reason, I did this time. And the guy had got Final Fantasy VII for the PC, and he'd also got a NES Advantage controller. And for some reason, this was before I got this phone, I couldn't get any internet reception, and he got them priced high, but I wasn't sure because obviously Final Fantasy VII is a potentially expensive game, but it was on PC, and I spent too long trying to look these bloody things up. And as I was looking them up, a guy walked past and spoke to this dealer guy, and he got a boxed N64 Pokemon Stadium one with the thing. And he goes, "Oh, whatever his name was, look what I just got for £5." And I was like, "Oh, you are joking." And that really annoyed me because I'd spent so long trying to look up these silly games from a dealer that I'd missed out on potentially that. So that was my biggest bugbear, that I can think, spending too long to look up stuff. Best feedback of the year. Yeah, I mean, I've received some great feedback this year. But one, I just went through some. One that stood out to me was I picked up from, it was from a wholesaler locally. He deals with sort of bankrupt stock and all stuff like that, and it's all random. Mostly it's just crap, but occasionally there's gems in there. And I picked up 3 of these. They were electronic dog collars that's supposed to help with dog barking, and they were new and sealed. And I sent them into Amazon, and they weren't expensive by any stretch of the imagination. I think I paid £1 for them, something like that, and they sold for about 10, 11 quid. So, not bad money. But I received a feedback which basically said, thank God, finally stopped barking, now I can sleep. So obviously it worked all right. So that felt good that product I put out there helped somebody out. Product that surprised me this year, number 8. There's been quite a lot actually that I've thought, blimey, that's ridiculous. Some stuff, especially around fourth quarter, toys that I've bought that I've sent in and they've all sold straight away. And I'll get onto that in the next question. But really, there's 2. One, which I talked about earlier, is software. I mean, software's silly, both on eBay and on Amazon. Some of the prices you can get for software is stupid. Especially if you can find it sealed. If you find it sealed, you're laughing. Things like antiviruses and stuff like that, mental. And then the other one is sealed board games, particularly on FBA. I've sold games which you just, if it was open, you wouldn't be able to get, £5 for. But because it's sealed, I was getting $49.99 for. Just crazy. So yeah, that really surprised me. Best sellers this Q4. I'd have to say, and this is an obvious one, it's probably the Pie Face game. I think I managed to get about 15 copies this year. And big shout out to Chris Royal actually, because he gave me the heads up on some that were for sale. And sent them all in. And no, I got 10 copies, that was it, 5 and 5. And I sent them all in to FBA. They got checked in, and immediately they all sold within an hour. So just crazy. I mean, yeah, it wasn't huge profit margins. I think I was making like £5 or £6 on each one. But for it all to go instantly, it gave me a brief insight into just the crazy sales volumes on Amazon. And then the last question, and this has got to like 15 minutes, is my aims for 2016. So, I think that I've got 3. The first one is to get back on track with my YouTube channel, regular videos, tips and advice, that sort of thing, connecting with the community, maybe some live chats, stuff like that. The second one is to deal with my piles of shame. I definitely have issues with buying stuff because this year's been such nice weather. I've just been going mad. I mean, the car boots have been the best that I've ever known. I don't know whether that's just because there was good stuff, or I think it's because my eyes are open to new opportunities and ideas that I literally have not been able to. I've been annoyed at the end of the car boot when people are packing up because I haven't finished buying, but consequently, I've got ridiculous hoarder style piles of shame, which is affecting personal life and stuff like that, really. So I need to sort that out. And also, I need to restock my eBay shop because I've only got a couple of hundred listings on there currently because I've been really pushing FBA this Christmas, fourth quarter or whatever, silly season. I don't like that name, silly season. So I've really got to restock my eBay shop with some unique, quality, quirky items. I mean, I've got them already. I don't need to buy any more, but I need to bloody list them. And also, I need to list a load of trainers. I've got far too many trainers to list. And then lastly is I've got down here push FBA. So I've got to exploit this extra inventory space that I've got and just get it in there. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books ready to go in boxes, ready to send in. So that's it really. And then lastly, I just want to tag two people. If they've already been tagged, that's cool. If they've already done a video, but the two people I want to tag. The first one is a guy who I got put onto his videos through Nick, doing a chat with him, and his name's Ben Fitzpatrick. I think that's his name. And I've watched a couple of his videos. He's really hot on computer games. He's a collector as well. So some interesting. He sells some. I mean, like he sold a Wii box for I think it was 15 quid or something crazy, just the box. So I'd be interested to hear some of his answers. And then the other person I want to tag is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Steve Hixxy, and I'd be interested to hear his plans. He's really been pushing it this year and really going for it, and I admire his enthusiasm and sort of his sort of addictive personality, if that makes sense. So thanks everybody for bearing with me for the 17 odd minutes that I've been waffling on, and I hope some of these answers have been useful. And I shall resume regular broadcasting soon. So thanks for watching, take it easy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.